Not really. This meeting is called to order. I would like for, if you have your cell phones, can you silent it at this time? If you need to make a phone call, please step out of the meeting. Thank you. Now we will have invocation by Pastor Michael Miller and
Amen. Thank you. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord God, we come to you right now just asking for your wisdom and guidance. Thank you for all that are here assembled. And Lord God, we just bless your holy name and we thank you for all that you're doing. And thank you for leading this great body. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
amen. Now we will have pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the
Flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty for all. Amen.
Now we have approval of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I request that consent agenda item number be removed off of the consent. Thank you.
Well, we'll move on to comments from the city.
Mr. Mayor, is a motion required for that? I'm a
Mr.
little
Mayor, a
confused
motion
what just
is
happened here.
Oh,
Mr. Mayor, a motion is not required to remove a item off the consent agenda by any member on the sitting board.
what is
It
that?
was item B, BS, and A net conversion to cloud item.
Okay, let's beat him to clause.
So, Mr. Mayor, my question is, you want it removed from the consent agenda and be placed on the agenda
Uh,
for discussion?
yes, Vice Mayor.
Okay.
Uh, Mr. Mayor,
Can we
there's
get
no second required to remove an item off the consent agenda. However, we still need to make a motion to approve the agenda with that change now.
Mr. Mayor, just so I can advise you on the law, if a commissioner requests an item on the consent agenda be removed from the consent agenda, then it has to be removed. If it is subject to any sort of communication or conversation, then it really should be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular portion of your agenda.
well, we remove it from the agenda.
So I think the request, unless I'm mistaken, because I didn't quite hear it, is to remove it from the consent agenda and place it on the regular part of the agenda. Is that correct?
Yes, let me clarify, Mr. Mayor. I would like it to be placed as a regular item under the agenda section.
So the next question is, where do we want to place it on the agenda then?
Section 5 under agenda items.
That's fine. That works. Now the next motion is to approve the agenda as modified.
So moved.
I'll second that.
I'll say.
It's been moved in second. All in favor? Or do we take a personal vote?
Are you calling for public comments yet on the motion?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name's Tamara Robbins. Appreciate that commission removing that item for public knowledge. I'm also like to know if someone could clarify, Mr. Mayor, this agenda tonight does not include the alcohol ordinance, which this board voted weeks ago to put on the agenda, and also put it before the Senior Advisory Committee for input, which they've had at least 2 meetings since that directive was given by this board. And I'd like to know when it is going to be put on commission agenda so the community can move forward with any plans they have that relate to that, since you did vote to do that. The other item is the live streaming of commission meetings on June 23rd, I think it was, of this year. You voted 5-0 to direct the city manager to do some research and come back and present options for this board to move forward with that public issue. And that is not on the agenda either, and I'd like an update on that. We've been waiting for years for that, so let's just move forward and follow the commission directives. The other item I'd like to comment on is the one other item that still is remaining on the consent agenda, and that is the purchase of 4 police utility patrol vehicles for a total of $184,627.12. I don't object to that purchase. What I'd like to know is how could it be so far off base from the $410,000 that was budgeted for that? So how much is going to be spent? I heard a comment from the audience, they have to outfit them. So how much is being authorized to spend? $184,627.12, or the additional cost to outfit them, which brings a grand total of how much? The person has to speak to the microphone. I'm just saying they're going to want to have it on the record. So I'm asking, how much is the total you're being asked to authorize spending on the purchase of the 4 vehicles? If it's not the 410 you budgeted, it is less than that, and I'm being told from the audience that there's an additional cost to outfit them. I'm not questioning the $184,000. I'm wanting to know the difference. That's a significant difference, and it isn't that hard to come up with a ballpark number of how much vehicles would cost to purchase and outfit, but you budgeted far more than double what it actually costs. I'm just wondering, how could you be that far off from your math? If somebody could clarify, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Is there any more comments?
I have other stuff I wanted to talk about, but I used to run fleet for the villages. My name's Zoe. So I know that I'm assuming based off of the 44, I didn't fully read into it, that's your base cost. Then you have the extra cost, which would be something as long, your radios, your decals, your lights, putting cages inside of the vehicle. So I'm assuming based off of what I'm seeing that for the 100 is for the base cost of the vehicles, and the rest budgeted would be for your outfitting, your technology, your lights, decals of that sort.
Mr. Mayor, I think they wanted to get the last name. Is that correct? Yes.
King.
All right, if there's no more comments, we'll move on.
Is that for all comments?
Excuse me. It's comments from the citizens on the subject not on the agenda.
Oh no, I have comments on that.
Mr. Mayor, If I'm not mistaken, we need to vote
Oh,
on
yeah.
the modified agenda.
Right, right. We'll start with Commissioner Fletcher.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Ringerson.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Mayor Welch. Aye. Now we'll move to Section 3, Committee Report and Comments, Appointment, City.
Citizen comment. So the stuff that she was speaking on was on the agenda. There's citizen comment that's not on the agenda that needs to be addressed.
Okay. Approve reading of the proposed ordinance and resolution by title only.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved to second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 So it's been read and it's been moved and we all agree. I have it. So now we will move to the reading of proposal, I guess. Okay, we did that. So we're back here to where I'm at. Special presentation. Yeah. Comments from the citizens. Make sure it's not on the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. My name's Tamara Robbins. So I just have like a straight up question. What is Mr. Walker's role as claiming of title of city attorney? In the information provided under budget adjustment, it lists Folds and Walker for litigation services. So I would like, Mr. Mayor, if somebody could clarify. I believe Mr. Valadares, interim city manager, hired Mr. Walker. So I'd like to know what exactly Mr. Walker's role is with getting his public funding from the citizens of this community. So it says litigation services. Okay, you didn't hire him, so technically you guys can't vote to direct him to do anything because he doesn't work for you. He works for the city manager, and the charter doesn't allow you to direct staff members. So I think that all needs to be cleared up. And I also would like to know, what is Mr. Theriak's role with the city at this time? He quit, but did he unquit? Just wondering what his role is. I know he's representing, according to the budget adjustment line item, he's representing the city of Alachua versus Alachua County, Kim Barton, which is that charter amendment issue that's outdated and should be motioned to withdrawal. So, and then it says it says Theriak in Spain is Viterra Projects, but it already has an amount on there for $13,000. So I want to know who's representing the city in the Terra Projects, who's representing the city for all development projects, and who is doing the litigation, which Mr. Walker is earmarked during the budget to represent the city. Could someone please clarify for me the roles? Because right now we don't have a city attorney that represents this commission. We have a city attorney that is a staff member. That's different. You guys can't fire him. You didn't hire him. So the roles of the city attorney, interim city attorney, has been really tipped upside down after you fired Ms. Rush. And I appreciate it being removed off the top of the agenda because it was still on there. So I would like clarification on that. And I'd also like clarification on how much is being spent on the theater park. $571,950 was approved on May 19th for you guys, but in the capital improvement plan for current is $195. 5 years out, there's no more money being spent on theater park. How much is being spent? And you got a $55,000 grant. So over $630,000 on that theater park. Why doesn't the budget and the CIP reflect that?
Is there any more comments?
Hi, my name's Zoe King. I just wanted to point out some stuff. I moved here last year, and my background is in transportation, and I've worked for city county government for like 15 years. So things that I wanted to point out. From 441 to Northwest County Road 235 down to Northwest 173rd Street, that road considered should be deemed a residential road at this point from that intersection. Forward. You guys, maybe not you guys exactly, but someone approved a second subdivision, which it's called Fletcher Terrace or something. That's going to account for 500 new homes in a subdivision. The average home has 2 cars, so that's an extra 1,000 cars a day going down that stretch of road. Once that subdivision's fully built out, on top of Savannah Station is fully built out at this point. So on top of that, there are no sidewalks for the kids to stand for their buses, and at times in the year it's completely dark, and you have semis running down that road. The speed is ridiculous. Just something to consider. And according to I lost where I put it, but there's a Florida statute that allows you guys, as long as it's within the city limits, which I believe that Spanner Road would be within the city limits because of the subdivisions, you guys are allowed to deem that residential or designated truck routes for the safety of the community. The other thing I'd like to point out is that I understand that this is a small town, we want to grow and whatnot. And in the time I've been here in the last year and a half, I've watched multiple subdivisions start to come around. So at this point, we only have one grocery store now because Hitchcock's is closed. I know I heard in the past, don't know if it's facts, but there was other businesses that had tried to come here and they were told no. And so something that you guys could consider is a solicitation to your procurement department could do a solicitation to have prospective businesses come to the area or show interest to come to the area so that we can meet the needs of the growing population. Because as of right now, if you try to go to Publix on a Saturday or a Sunday, that whole entire parking lot is full and you can't get in there. The next one is Winn-Dixie all the way in High Springs, and then you got to go all the way out into Gainesville, and it's just not, for the amount that we're growing, it's just not accommodating. The other thing I wanted to address, I know we just built a brand new subdivision a fire station across the street from Wawa, but according to the National Fire Administration, there should be one station for every 5 to 10 square miles, whichever is greater. The city of Alachua, I believe, is 34 square miles. We have one. And so for them to be able to come and respond within 8 minutes, you guys maybe consider another fire station.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Asia Eichmiller, citizen of Alachua, Florida. I live in Pilot Grove, and there is a subdivision of maybe 200 or 300 homes on either side of me. I have Savannah Station, which seems to be built out, and now there's going to be Fletcher Trace behind me. I understand these subdivisions have city sewer, and I'm wondering why city sewer can't be put into the Pilot Grove subdivision where there's, I don't know, maybe approximately 100 homes for water conservation to get off of the septic tanks that the citizens that live in Pilot Grove have. That's what I would respectfully request, that you consider having sewer brought into that subdivision. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Sori Lindberg. I wasn't going to speak, but Asia brought up something that I forgot about because things happen and take longer. Mr. Mayor, in my neighborhood, Santa Fe Hills, we are 87 homes. We all have septics, and we are one well. We are an annex property, so the county had to adopt us, and now the county has made plans to put us on city water. The county has given an interlocal agreement draft to the city manager, and it was Miss Rush at the time. And they're just requesting a meeting so they can talk logistics. This will cost the city $0. The county will pay up to the last figure I heard was $2.2 million to put us on city water. We need this because when and if Terra gets approved, that water can be contaminated and it goes to my house. And I'm not just saying that the DiTRACE study went there. You approved a golf course, pesticides and herbicides, basically unregulated. Parkinson's.org said after we approved the golf course, if your well water is within 2 miles of a golf course, you have a higher risk of Parkinson's. I said that's up to 2.5 times more. That's lots of people in our community. I watched a presentation recently that your water accounts are about 4,800 water accounts. There's 11,000 people just in your city limits, not to count the people in the county like me. Everyone else is on a well, and we can be in danger unless you can convert us and give us that peace of mind that we can have clean water. My house is paid off. I'm not going anywhere. My baby needs to grow up with healthy water. I just picked up a puppy at the farmer's market. He needs clean water. So, Mr. City Manager, Mr. City Attorney, check your email. I can forward it to you. Ramon from the county is waiting. I know you guys go way back. The engineers are waiting to talk to your engineers. The legal team is waiting to talk to you. You just have to sign the lines and figure it out. This will not make a city property. You don't have to worry about that. It's just water. And we're not asking for sewer. I know that gets really complicated. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that kind of 4-letter word if we had to go to city sewer. So it's just a reminder that they've had this in their inbox for many, many weeks. And the last I heard about it from the city manager on email is like, we'll get to it. And that was when we were in flux with city attorney. But if Mr. Walker's firm is established as our representative, just talk to the county about it. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
My name is Dennis Pollard. Most of the folks here in Alachua know me as Santa Claus. I've been a citizen of Alachua, city of Alachua, since 2004. And like I say, I've been Santa since 2006 when I was at Main Street Pie with Miss Annette. Because of the changes in business and such, my time in Alachua has kind of moved around. I've been everywhere up and down the Main Street. And it's been a hope of mine for the last several years to create a Santa house, a permanent spot for Santa to visit with the children and the children to know where they can come. There are several houses in the country, 3 of them, matter of fact, that were built from the ground up as Santa houses. One in Lockport, New York, one in Bristol, Rhode Island, which is famous for the oldest 4th of July parade in the country. And the other is in Midland, Michigan, where the Charles W. Howard School, Santa School, which has been in existence for the last 80 years. My hope is to not so much build it from the ground up, but to place a very nice wooden building or metal building, decorated as with the lights on the inside and the outside, to draw all the inside and make it a somewhat permanent fixture. There is a spot of city land that I would ask that I could put this house on. It's behind the city hall, city Chamber of Commerce.
It's a large concrete area that is not used for anything right now. Uh, During Christmas time, they use it for the children for snowballs or snow and such. It would be a great addition to put that there to help with our holiday festivities. It's close to where the tree lining is. The folks can just walk down the street a short distance. Um, but the Santa House envision is not to be used just at Christmas time. There are other events that we could hold there. One being, in the springtime, we could have the children come in and make birdhouses that we could display on downtown Main Street as a springtime event. The summer, we could use it as Christmas in July for Santa to check up with the children. We could have the literacy reading programs there for after school for the children to read, not only to myself, but to my therapy dog. Sorry. Uh, my 3 minutes are up. But I would urge you to strongly consider. I would be more than happy to come back and present a presentation to you, a more formal presentation to you. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's no more comments, we'll move on to item 3A.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Attorney, and City Manager. I am Leanne Williams, Deputy City Clerk. The Citizen Advisory Task Force has 3 vacant seats. Your packet has the details of the appointment. The city received 2 applications. The names of the applicants are listed in alphabetical order: Phyllis Strickland and Annie Welch. The applicants have been contacted regarding this potential appointment and informed of their right to attend and speak at this meeting. I will call them forward in the order in which they appear before you, should you wish to speak from them. Yes. Okay. Phyllis Strickland.
Good evening. My name is Phyllis Wilcox Strickland. I've been in Alachua for 11 years. I retired from Bank of New York Mellon after 38 years of service in 2014. And so Alachua is now my home. My husband is class of 1965 McBain, and I'm a Pittsburgher, but I'm a Alachuan now. So, and I see this city. I love Alachua. I've seen it. It's growing a little too fast for me, but I love the city. I love my neighbors. I love the people, and I would like to, like, be an asset to the committee or task force to kind of like enable us to do whatever's needed for the growth of the city and with grant funds. I do believe in diversity, inclusion, and equity because I come from a background where I work for Bank of New York Mellon, which is global. So my peers were India, Chennai, Pune, Breda in the Netherlands, and the UK, and New Yorkers and Pittsburghers and everybody globally. So I do believe in diversity because I've worked with so many people around the globe. And I just have to say that I love Alachua. I like to be on this committee and to give my input and feedback. Thank you.
Thank you.
Annie Welch.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. Valadares, and Mr. Walker. I am Annie Welch, a lifelong resident here in the city of Alachua. I have seen our city and our community grow and thrive. living here. Shopped at all three Hitchcock's locations, two police's department, three different post offices. So was here when sewer got put in, streets got put in, signs got put in, 911 went into action. I have always been an advocate for our seniors and for our youth. I am civic ex because I don't do it now, but I served as in different capacities up under the supervisor of elections for over 20 plus years. I um, volunteer and serve in various ministries and churches here in Alachua. Volunteered at the school, was a member of the PTA for a very long time, and I just always have had an interest in the growth in our city and its citizens. And as a result from that, I look forward to the opportunity to be able to be an asset to our citizens and our citizens' concerns as to where we are and where we are going. I can honestly say that the growth that has taken place up until this point has always been positive. I know a lot of times it's hard to accept change, but when change is for the betterment for our entire community and its citizens, that's always a good thing for me. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will now conduct the ballot process. This is a vote for a maximum of 2, so you can vote for both candidates. Give me just a moment to tally the votes. Both candidates have received 5 of 5 votes. Okay. All right, the recommended action is to appoint Phyllis Strickland and Annie Welch to the Citizen Advisory Task Force, each with a 3-year term expiring on September 30th, 2028.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. There, take a vote.
Citizen comment?
Citizen, I'm so sorry. Citizen comments? Is there be none? We'll vote. We'll start with Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Fletcher,
Aye.
Commissioner Ringerson,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Brown,
Aye.
and Mayor Welch. Aye. Ayes have it. So say we all.
Mr. Mayor. May I?
Yes, yes, you may.
Mrs. Strickland, Mrs. Welch, thank you for your commitment to serve on our Citizens Advisory Task Force. I've observed and watched these two ladies in the community and they are busy. And you know, you hear if you want something done, give it to a busy person. So thank you, thank you, thank you for your service and your commitment. We appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
The Senior Resources Advisory Board has 2 vacant seats. The details of the appointments are in your packet. The city received 5 applications. Jim Currington, Elaine Elliott, Asia Eichmiller, John T. McMillan Jr., and Susan Sapp. The candidates have been contacted regarding their potential appointment and invited to attend tonight's meeting. Before I call them forward, if you wish to hear from them, I received an email from Eileen Elliott stating that she says, I would like to attend the next meeting, but I teach a Zoom GED class at the same time on Monday. So she wanted to extend her regrets, but her appreciation for the opportunity. Okay. Would you like to hear from the candidates? Yes? Okay. Jim Currington? Is he here? I didn't see him. Nope. Okay. Asia Eichmiller?
Good evening once again. I'm Asia Eichmiller. I'd like to ask you for your consideration to continue my tenure on the Senior Resources Advisory Board. I have been on the board since April, and during that time, I've been involved with the revision of the senior survey so we can assess the needs of our seniors in the community. I've been involved with visiting the Senior Community Center and also giving input toward the new senior center, which is being planned. I'm very excited about that. As a senior and a citizen of Alachua, I'd like to advocate for those in our community, and I have a history of service. For those of you who don't know, my background has been in social services as well as public administration. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you.
John McLean? Susan Sapp?
Hi, my name is Susan Shannon Sapp. I've lived in this county in the city of Alachua for 5 years. I'm sorry. Thank you for inviting me here. I wanted to start out with that. Currently, I've been working for the last 3 years with the seniors, but it was more directly in the role as a senior advocate, preparing them for getting their affairs in order and for helping them prepare to get their documents in order to go to their attorneys or their CPAs and kind of expedite that process. My change in my situation has now led me to work more in the medical side of it. I'm caring for a 91-year-old mother, so I am going through the processes, boots on the ground. I'm working with the elder care, elder affairs, elder options. I'm trying to distinguish what they do, who does what, where to go for what. Then the difference also in completing the Medicaid application, which I had to go through that process with my mother. It's very daunting. I've noticed the stress that caring for elders puts on the family. Families' lives are very busy, and sometimes they just need an advocate to help them through the process, and it also will alleviate some of the burden off the family. I do have established relationships with the elder care and the elder option, so I do have an inside where I can go to them and try to clarify any questions, making sure people don't duplicate their efforts and they get to the right place. And I'll continue those efforts, and whether I'm on this board or not, but I will continue that effort and be supportive to this community in that way.
I have done presentations through the senior center, through churches, and I've gone anywhere through Alachua County to Daytona and given previous presentations. They're all for free. It kind of gives them an outline of what to do and kind of help them maneuver through. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions for me, because I know I'm kind of a new face. And you're sitting in the wrong place. I kept thinking, why is Dana in the wrong seat?
I'll go take care of it.
That's okay. Not a problem. Do you have any questions for me? Okay.
No, but thank you.
I will now administer the ballot process. You have the option to vote for 2. Please give me a moment to tally the votes. Okay. Jim Currington has received 5 votes. Excuse me. Asia Ike Miller has received 4 of 5 votes. Susan Sapp has received 1 of 5 votes, and Eileen received 1 of 5 votes. So the majority votes have gone to Jim and Asia. Okay. The recommended action is to appoint Jim Currington and Asia Ike Miller as members of the Senior Resources Advisory Board, each with a 3-year term expiring on October 2, 2028.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Now we'll take a vote.
Comment, citizen comment. Citizen comment.
I'm so sorry. Citizens comment. Well, if there be none, we'll take a vote. Starting with Commissioner Fletcher.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Jennifer.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Mayor.
Aye.
And Mayor Welch. Aye.
Shall we move to the next appointment?
Yes, please.
Okay.
May I make
Yes,
a
ma'am.
short comment?
Thanks, Miss Shirley.
Sure. Must need to check on Mr. Currington. He's
I know,
always
always.
here. Always here. So let me express my thanks to him, my thanks to Ms. Asia for their service and their willingness to continue to serve. To the other applicants, we are happy that you put in your application, and please do it again. Don't let this stop you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question for the deputy clerk.
Yes.
Hey, what is the notice time frame for applicants? We're letting them know that, like, hey, we're gonna have a vote on this.
I send them an email the day that it appears in Alachua County today. So about a month. They get a month's notice.
Okay, so those notices occur in a month that they're happening on this day?
No, I emailed them the day that the ad went into Alachua County today. So that was about a month ago.
Mhm.
That day, I sent an email to the applicants so that they could know their appointment was up and they could reapply.
Okay, and that notice states that today was the day that the commission was going to vote on it?
In the email, yes, I tell them the date that it's going to happen. In the public notice, no, it's not, because it could change. If an appointment doesn't get any applications, we'll move it farther down to try to get some applications in.
So applicants or reappointing applicants do have like a tentative notice of the
Yes,
date?
and I let them know if it's moving down. So
Thank you.
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Mayor.
Thank you. You
Thank
may
you.
continue.
Yes, sir. The Youth Advisory Council has 2 vacant seats. The details of the appointment are in your packet. The city received 1 application from Robert Hugh, and I spoke with Robert. He could not be here tonight. His parents couldn't get him here, so he just wanted to let you know that. Let's see. All right, I just covered it. I will now administer the ballot process. Okay, give me just a moment. Robert Hugh has received 5 of 5 votes. The recommended action is to appoint Robert Hugh to the Youth Advisory Council with a 2-year term expiring on September 4th, 2027.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved in second. We have comments from citizens.
I just want to say that I had a chance to meet Mr. Hugh. He's a very pleasant and bright young man. We had a little lengthy discussion at the Juneteenth celebration, and I'm glad he was appointed.
Is there any more comments?
Mayor, I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
With the term for like Robert, which I agree, he's amazing. When they go to 2027, if he graduates, how
It
does
becomes a vacant term,
okay?
and then we fill that term.
Okay, thank you.
All right. We start with our vote.
Aye.
Miss Dana,
Aye.
Miss Regenson.
Aye.
I mean to say Commissioner. Excuse me. Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
And Mayor Welch. Aye.
Thank you so much.
One more comment. Robert Hugh is an extraordinary student. He assisted us. Miss Williams is aware with our memorial quilt that we did for the Remembrance Committee. He has served as the master of ceremony for many events. He writes beautifully. He has great talent, and he's awesome. And I'm happy that he will represent us once again.
Y'all so very welcome, man. I'm glad that everyone speak highly of him because he is a great young man. I met him. He was happy to meet me. I was happy to hear him his thoughts. So congratulations to him, and excited, and I know he's gonna serve that position well. Well, we're gonna move on to item D.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Attorney. My name is Rodolfo Valadares, and I'm the City Manager for the City of Alachua. This evening, we'll be discussing the Mill Creek Sink Wetland Park educational signage. We'll get there. Okay. So this is an aerial view of our beautiful city, and we are currently sitting right about here. This is Turkey Creek, and the things that jump out at me are US 441. That is one of the most highly traveled roadways in the state of Florida. The other one jumps out at me is the one that runs north and south, I-75. That is one of the most highly traveled interstates in our country. And the city of Alachua has them intersecting at that one location right there. And so US 441 was opened as it went through Alachua approximately 1940. And the 4-lane expansion occurred in 1957. That's when that roadway was done. I-75 opened through Alachua in approximately 1964. And so as those engineers designed those roadways, they were really focused on making sure that the roadway was safe for folks to travel. Durability was one of the issues, traffic flow. And one of the main components they did was to get just water off the roadway so people can travel safe. That was the things that they balanced. And so the EPA didn't come into play until 1970, and the Clean Water Act happened in 72, and stormwater wasn't really addressed until 1987. And so we had an environmental challenge that we had to manage. And so focusing on that one area, the intersection of I-75 and US 441, we had another item that was located right around here. This is Mill Creek Sink, and there's a swallowlet, and this is the creek that goes up it. And so as they built this roadway, all of the stormwater runoff just washed through and went directly into the Mill Creek Sink. Brake dust, petroleum, oil, grease, everything. And so we had a huge environmental challenge at that point. And the city of Alachua, this board, decided to take action. And you guys took action in 2022, and you built Mill Creek Sink Wetland Park, which is shown right about here. So what this does is it captures all the runoff from I-75, 441, April Boulevard is FDOT, all the runoff that went right into our drinking water. We captured it at certain locations, and we were able to go ahead and use environmental stewardship and environmental wetlands to make it work, or to improve the water quality. Additionally, ever since 2022, we had a Great American Cleanup. In 22, we had it in 23, we had it in 24. We've had it more than all these dates. But the reason I pointed these out was because ever since we did the Mill Creek Sink Wetland Park, one of the projects that we did with the Great American Cleanup was to go out to Mill Creek, and we helped mitigate trash and debris that accumulated within it. And so as folks participated in these events, they were given a tour of what we were doing at that one site. And so here's one of the basins. And so there's many ways we treat it, and we'll have another slide that goes into depth. But this is the one of the basins that show how certain plants were selected. There is elevations within the wetlands that allows the water to flow the longest, most contact, and then eventually in the back it does discharge into the natural wetlands, which continues to clean the water as it goes prior to the Mill Creek Sink swell-in. The other thing, this is another view of one of the basins. The city does reach out to the local schools. And so we've had AP chemistry classes, we've had AP environmental classes come out, and they take a tour of these facilities where we, with poster boards, show the environmental stewardship that we've done at this one location and why it is so important to do what we do. And here in the background, you'll see some of the folks that were giving the tour. So we have had 3 signs made, and the 3 signs that were made were the preliminary entry sign, and then 2 other signs as folks take the tour and they view it and they look. Right now is the first step. The first step was action. You guys saw something going on, you saw the environmental challenge, and you took action, and we did the water quality project. And so we have a lot of vision as we move forward. So zooming up, this is just an illustration of what I showed you on the aerial view. So here it shows the stormwater coming off. You'll see stones and rocks that does energy dissipation, slows the flow down. Here is where the majority of all the debris that gets washed away with stormwater gets collected. And as we do our Great American Cleanup, you can spend the majority of your time at these locations, and we've removed 11, 12 bags of debris from these sites. I can only imagine that if it wasn't for these catch areas, normally all that went right into our drinking water aquifer. But as things go through, the first one that you'll see is a preliminary treatment basin where all the water comes in and all the heavy metals settle down. So all anything that comes from the roadway, all the heavy metals settles down, it decants over, and that's where the biology of nature takes over with the wetland treatment, and it goes through, and then again it decants one more time at the top, and then it goes through the natural treatment into the creek, into the swellette, and then into the sink. And so prior to this project going on, all that stuff we just talked about went straight into the drinking water aquifer. One thing we added to the sign is, again, because we take tours, is did you know? And so one of the themes we'll be using in this area is the dragonfly. Because when you see a dragonfly around, it shows that the water quality is good enough for that species to grow. So as we move forward, we're looking at marketing towards the dragonfly and showing it there. The other signs are the ones that follow. So this one goes through all the science and the narrative on how we do enhanced natural filtration. Again, there's the inflow structure. There's the line of rocks that were shown before. Here's that pre-treatment where the heavy metals settle out, and then the outfall structure that goes into the treatment wetlands. Here's a narrative of all the science that goes on. Here's the narrative that kind of walks you through each step and why it's done. And I believe this little did you know fact talks about how the dragonfly is one of the predators for mosquitoes and it's a natural abatement for it. This continues on with the biology of it. So I'll start at the bottom. So they have the structure that overflows. It talks about the treatment wetlands and then the nitrogen removal that occurs, and then the other overflow that goes into the natural wetlands that continues on to the Mill Creek itself. This talks about the biology and how the nitrogen is removed, and this is the narrative of how the water gets through. And if I recall correctly, this brags about the dragonfly, how it can fly up to 35 miles an hour. So here's another view of the Mill Creek sink. We've had the University of Florida PH students have come out. They put structures in there to test and to see how well our treatment basins are being used. And so what is the future for this one site? And so we're very, very fortunate. Our site is the perfect size. You can grab a group of school students and take them through the tour. And the tour lasts about 25 and 30 minutes, which is the right amount of time for field trips to occur. And so other neighbors, for example, Gainesville, they have the Sweetwater wetland treatment. Wonderful. They have the University of Florida supporting. And so they have all those PhD applicants there. And then Ocala has a nice wetland treatment that has miles and miles of boardwalk for those to go back and forth. And so Ocala has such a large site. So for us to provide a different educational piece, for example, we can't compete with the miles of boardwalk with Ocala, and it's very hard for me to compete with the PhDs at University of Florida. But what we do offer is a Cliff Note version of the site where students can come, see the impact that they create, and move forward. And so one of the questions is, why is this not open to the public? We do have plans to have trails, boardwalks, and bridges that allows all to come visit. We'll be applying for grants, we'll be applying for the educational piece, but since the proper trails aren't there and the proper little bridge over the overspill is not there, we go out there and we escort students as they go through to make sure everything's nice and safe. And so many ideas that do pop up are as we add and expand, we would love, and this is me, so you guys can say it's a good idea or a bad idea, but I do want students to go out there and have the Gulliver Travels kind of feel. I want them to know that they're a giant when it comes to nature and how their actions do make a huge impact on our environment. So as we go forward, it would be great to have architectural pieces that give those students that feeling of the impact that they do have. Other items that we don't have yet, but we've been working towards is the entry sign. Once again, kind of displaying and marketing towards the dragonfly, which is very specific to this area, and Mill Creek. And then another signage that we're working on is this one, where again, it dives into the dragonfly, the different species, the benefits, the stages for it. So it gives the students, as they walk through, not only the educational pieces for the environmental, but they can kind of do a scavenger hunt to see how many items they can view, they can see, and they can locate. So without any further ado, this evening we will be unveiling our entry signs, and these will be on display here at City Hall for the public to see. We will be installing them on site, and then we'll be coordinating and reaching out with the schools on how we can best serve. And so if I could have Miss Janine, do you mind unveiling or that, or I can get Damon to help us out? Damon will do it. Okay. And so I'm very, very pleased to present to you, this board, the final entry sign, which will be installed at Mill Creek Sink Woodland Park. Yes, sir. There are the two other signs that you saw are in display as you go into the restrooms. And so back in the day when we provided this tours, we had poster boards would hold them up. By having these fixed, we continue to grow and show off the good work that we do here in the Good Life community. Mayor, thank you for the presentation. And if there are no questions, I can return back to the board.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I got some questions.
I know
Sorry,
you
Rodolfo.
do.
Regarding
Damon, thank you.
what you mentioned that I think the one over by Sweetwater, I believe it was, there's some studies with UF. Is the city currently open to as a research opportunity for the university or students at Santa Fe? Is there any opportunity for research opportunities for this site?
So we did have PhD professors and students reach out to us from the University of Florida. There was a slide that showed they did take measurements out there, and the research isn't complete, and they haven't moved forward with it. So they did all the installations. If I can go back, I got to press and hold the button. That's what I've learned. There is a slide that shows a green box that has solar on it, and that's what they were using. And they sampled the influent, and they were sampling the discharge. We're almost there.
No worries.
Okay. Oh, there it is. I thought I misspoke. So right there is the one that is measuring the influent flow. This is from the preliminary treatment. And then the discharge flow, there was a box right there that they're taking measurements for. We provided that. They went out there, did all sampling. And then there were other sites that they were focusing on
Okay.
at the time.
So we are open, and we just haven't heard anything back from them on their.
We just need
current
to
project.
coordinate with them. Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. You mentioned one of the pictures was Mill Creek Sink. Is that correct?
We don't have a picture of Mill Creek Sink, but I did show the area where it was located.
Okay. And last question: how big is this site?
The sites, I do know CAPS was the one who did the land work for us. I want to say 5 acres. And if I'm wrong, is about it. 5 acres is the site.
Thank you,
Yes,
Rodolfo.
sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And so I look forward to expanding on the site. Again, these are environmental challenges, and the board took it on. Everyone just talked about it. You did it. And so this was not the answer, but it was a step towards the right solution. And we look forward for all opportunities to make water quality better for all in the city of Alachua.
Mr. Mayor, thank you, Mr. Valadares, for the presentation. I was out there. It's a beautiful piece of property. And just envision the students having the opportunity to go out and see this piece of property and learn and be educated about it. I think it's a very, very rewarding experience. I am hopeful that the schools will take advantage of it and we will have lots of children out there. So, thank you. The signage is gorgeous. And I'm so proud that we have Mill Creek Wetland Park in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Thank you, Vice Mayor. And just to add one thing that was discussed by Commissioner Fletcher, when UF reached out to us to study this site, we did make one condition. The one condition was if we had our students go out there, that they will meet us on site and give them a tour. And so we had that opportunity provided for our students. The student AP, it was environmental chemistry class, did come out. We did coordinate with that PhD professor, and they're the ones who gave the students the tour of the site. So they were able to get the hands-on experience, but also show what they're striving for higher education. And I do encourage everyone to look at, a lot of thought went into this. We tried to acknowledge everybody at the site. And if you look at this area right here, you will see some scuba divers that went down. So we do have that being represented and the benefit for the cave system down there. Mayor, if there's no more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ready, sir? Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. City Manager, and Mr. City Attorney. I'm Donna Smith with Finance and Administrative Services Purchasing. You have before you consideration BSNA.net conversion to cloud. On October 1st, 2016, the city entered into a contract with Beljour and Associates, known as BSNA, to implement an enterprise resource planning ERP software program. Throughout the summer of 2016, the city worked on migrating the city's various departments into the software system prior to startup. By implementing BSNA.net conversion to cloud, the city will gain access to additional features that are currently not provided. The conversion will eliminate in-house data storage needs and reduce staff service maintenance time. This agreement provides for conversion cost of $93,300 and a maximum initial annual fee of $54,610. Staff recommends moving forward with BSNA.net cloud conversion. The recommended action would be to, number one, authorize the issuance of a purchase order to Beljour and Associates, known as BSNA, in the amount of $147,910, and to authorize the city manager to execute any necessary documents to proceed with the BSNA.net conversion to cloud.
So I'm familiar with implementation processes with IT, and particularly moving on-prem to cloud programs. With this being moved to a cloud program, what are we looking at, like cost saving wise, from shutting down our on-prem services?
I'm going to direct any questions on this project to the city manager, if I may, please. Thank
Yes,
you.
Donna, thank you.
Mhm.
And so, like with all things, this will reduce maintenance. It also allows ease of demand. So if we have to increase or decrease, we can easily do that with the cloud. This was brought out through IT and finance to get this going. But if you're asking for the actual cost benefit to moving to the cloud, I can provide you that at a later time. I don't have that number in front of me right now. But in that quote, it does address training for our staff, and it also identifies best practices when it comes to process flow on how best to get things done.
Um, One of the things that was just mentioned in this is that there are features not provided that by moving it to cloud was provided. And what were those that were with the cloud conversion?
So with the cloud conversion, we're not adopting additional items at this time. It just opens the door for those things to happen. For example, BSNA does support a lot of the things that we do with our planning. And so the director of planning will be looking at that and addressing it. Those are the items that the door gets open to. And so that flexibility is not present. But once you go into on cloud, those options are like a menu you can go ahead and choose.
Okay, so those modules can be put on like a further
Correct.
budget in that way.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then on here, it said that the fees for this will choose whichever is greater between 5% or the, I think it was like the CPI on here under the sections of fees. Um, is that correct?
If you don't mind clarifying before.
The amount of fee increase will be in BSA sole's discretion, provided that the customer agrees that the increase may be at least the greater of 5% or the annual increase in the relevant consumer price index for all urban consumers published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics for the then current calendar year. So is this saying that we're expecting every year a 5% increase on their standard services contract with them? Or
That allows for that flexibility. That's correct. Every year they can increase to that amount.
okay. And so when it says be the least the greater of, and maybe this might be a question for the city attorney to clarify my understanding of that language, the least greater of.
Well, I think that there should be discussion before 30 days of the termination of the 1 year contract. So you have a 30-day out clause.
Mhm.
And if there's discussion that they're going up by more than 5%, or is it 5%, or is it 3% increase, or is there any increase at all in this contract, that discussion should be had prior to 30 days notice for the rollover of the contract. So I do agree that that language is a bit confusing. And you look at all of the CPI indexes, and there's multiple indexes. So I think we need to be very definitive as to what is that increase. What is it going to be?
Well, I mentioned that because even though it's a 30-day notice, when you're doing large-scale implementations like these, you can't just pick up and go to a different provider. So if we get locked into somebody and somebody is saying, "Hey, we can boost it up by this amount," or you can go find someone else. And I'm not sure if there is a similar system to DSA. I know with where I work, we were doing a migration between PeopleSoft and Workday, which that cost a lot of money to move to a different system that does the same thing. So if we're going to get locked into something, I was just trying to understand it better as to how much they're allowed to do it. And, then we have to make the decision, are we going to spend 4 times, 5 times, even 10 times the amount to move to a different software if we find that this fee system isn't sustainable for us. So I'm just trying to understand better of like this contract that seems to be written by them. Is that correct? Did we have any hand in writing the contract agreement with them?
All contracts are reviewed, and so and what you're alluding to is, I guess we're locking in at the worst case scenario is a 5% increase. That's what that's saying. And so we'll make sure.
Well, it says 5% or greater, whichever is the greater amount. So each year is 5%, or whatever the CPI is, if it's greater than 5%.
One of the
So
things that we can do, Mr. Mayor, is have a discussion. You can approve this contingent upon legal and contracts administration having further discussion with the entity and say that we need a further delineation on this. And so I think it can be contingent to that. So it's real clear as to what it is that we're looking at. And I think there is input on your contract administration, and almost never do I see a contract that has proper jurisdiction and proper venue. This is a Delaware corporation, Delaware licensed, and it has Florida and Alachua County. And so I was real pleased to see that. That means your contract administration is doing their job before it even gets to legal, which is a bit of a rarity, to be honest.
And can you repeat that regarding approving it on contingency?
You can approve it subject to legal and contracts administration having further discussion with BS&A about that clause, the contract increase, so that it's very clear as to what that will be. In other words, will they be amenable to not to exceed 5%, perhaps? Let's see if we can work that out with them.
That's a discussion for me and my other fellow commissioners on that.
Mr. Mayor, I'm following what Commissioner Fletcher is saying, and I have the document in front of me. My thoughts on this is, I would, if it's legal, I'm not the attorney. I'd like to see this language, discuss the language with them to see if they're amenable to have it say no greater than 5%, or that would be the cap. Because sometimes some years CPI is less than 5%. So if they want to leave the CPI language in there, then I would prefer the language state something along the lines of, CPI or 5%, whichever. But the cap is 5%. Help me with the language, but I hope I explained that. I hope I got that across.
I understand.
Because some, inevitably, I know in the past, the majority of CPIs, not during COVID, but majority of CPIs have been less than 5%. So obviously, if that's what it is, I would like to take advantage of a lower than 5%. Does that make sense, Commission? What I'm trying to say? Okay, thank you. So that's my opinion. That I don't think it would take much of a language change on this to do that.
Mr. Mayor, um, I like the recommendation from our city attorney, and I think his language was not to exceed 5%, which I think says it all. Could be less, could be 3, could be 2, could be 1.
We'll be very definitive in that clause.
Okay. So when it comes to a motion, it would be something along obviously following the language here, but including would you say subject? No,
Contingent.
contingent. Thank you. Contingent of legal and contract administration. I need some help more than this.
That
I want to make
any
this
increase on a year-to-year basis will be not more than 5%.
not more than 5%. Yeah.
And based upon the CPI index, so that if it's lower than
Yeah.
5%, it will be that
Yes.
the lower of the two.
Yeah. Yes. So moved. Does that help? If you need me to repeat it, I will. I understand. That was choppy.
It's already been second, so I'm just in case we might have to repeat it for the clerk.
So do we have
So
Mr.
I'll
Mayor,
repeat.
I think we
You
need
want me to
a.
repeat it? I'll repeat. Okay. So, all right. Wait a minute. Let me go back up here. I apologize. Oh, where's the? I move to authorize the issuance of a purchase order to Bell Shore and Associates (BSNA) in the amount of $147,910, and authorize the city manager to execute any necessary documents to proceed with the BSNA net conversion to the cloud, contingent on legal and contract administration. Putting this is where I'm stuck. Putting the language in to make the change to reflect no increases annually, no more than 5% CPI. Will that work? Second.
Yeah.
Mr. Attorney, is that better?
Like I said, I understand what
Okay.
it is that you're trying.
I'll second.
It's been moved in second. Any comments from the citizen?
I have a couple questions. How was this procured? Was it sole source? Was the source justified? Was a solicitation put out for bid? Was this publicly bid? My other comment is,
Could you state your name again? I'm
sorry, Zoe King. When you put in the language to not exceed, they're going to put your cap at 5% every year. I know this because I do procurement for a living. Okay. My other comment is you should probably have, because this is a software as a service contract, you should have somebody review this contract that either does that, in legal regularly, or is versed in it. I don't think that this should be something that should be decided on right now. I think you guys should revisit the language of that contract before you make a decision like that. Because saying up to, or if they don't agree and you guys go back and forth in negotiations, you guys might be stuck in a situation where their 5 or plus is where they're at. And that's where my question is how was this procured? Was it sole source? Was it source justified? Did you guys do a solicitation for bid? Because I looked at the information provided, and if you're going off the information provided, the contract originally for this was done in 2016. So normally the contracts last for about 5 years. There's options where they can be extended longer, but I have questions because if we're going off of a contract from 2016, I mean, I would love to see it and how that makes, the term, like, that's just, I don't have enough time to sit here and thoughtfully think this out, but those are just things off of listening to you guys talk that you should consider, and go ahead and issuing a purchase order without solidifying your terms and conditions of that contract is questionable.
Mr. Mayor, can the city manager explain how this contract was sourced?
So yes, so all contracts go through review, and so this contract has been through review. We discussed this during the budget process, through the workshops, and so the migration towards the cloud has been one of the goals for finance department when it comes to BSNA. When BSNA was first introduced to the city in 2016, we did do a request for qualifications. They're the most qualified for it. So this step allows us to provide more services for our residents to continue with the BSNA support that we have. If we are to go back and open it up and do requests for bids at this time, it would be retraining of staff, reintroducing all our policies that we have in place. We have a lot of these structures for it. This step was to provide a betterment for our residents through online paying, through the cloud, and so that's where we are at this step, and that's what's before you today. And so, unfortunately, the 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 director who's championing this effort, which could speak more eloquently on how we got to this point, is out, and I am covering for this one topic. But again, these are things we've discussed through the budget workshops. As we said it, these are the goals we had in place, and going to the cloud was the next sequential step.
Mr. Mayor, I don't think that was the question on here. I think it was the question of when we look at this, right? So the subscription fees is the conversion to the cloud units. So when we're moving stuff, you have to pay, software as a service. The public comment person was correct on that. But I think is a section on here regarding professional services for $93,000, which when we're dealing with like implementation stuff, that doesn't mean the provider of that software is the person who does it. So for software like Workday, like we have people like from Deloitte, Booz Allen, other providers who can implement these softwares, even though they're not the makers of the software. So I think the question here is, for regarding the professional services of the $93,000, did we solicit proposals from other vendors on this implementation?
It was sole source to that.
The only vendor that can provide that service. That's what a sole source is.
So I guess I'll have to ask that. BSNA is the only one who can sole source this, like we have documentation of that.
Okay, and so again, before you is the steps for us to go onto the cloud. Since there's the desire to get into the details, if we want, we can pull this item and allow the director of finance to address all the specific details for it. And so that's what I'm picking up from this line of questioning.
Mr. Mayor, we'll have to finish public comment on this, but I think the route that we have to do, since we put the motion forward and the motion has been seconded, we will have to vote on this. So just to clarify, that will have to happen with this.
Well, one of the citizens was on her way up when she was interrupted. So would you come on, please?
Hello, Story Lindbergh. I don't mind waiting to answer these questions, and so let the minutes show that there was not a RFP or RFQ for portions of this. I am a project manager by trade. I often say I'm not a scientist or a lawyer, so I know what it's like to put digital projects together. I did a quick dive into this because I was at concerts all weekend. There's a few issues you all should know about, and it's good to hear we're encouraged to wait to do this. The first, vendor compliance. BSA is inactive in Florida. I gave a copy of this to the city manager and attorney. I'm going to give another one to the clerk so you could see it with the minutes. They withdrew in 2023. Maybe you've been paying a company the last 2 years that's not even certified in Florida. Before you sign a contract, make sure they're certified. That's step one. The next thing, scope clarity. The 2016 contract had many pages of scope. It said for this much money, you're going to get this deliverable. The deliverables tell you what you get for your money. What you put in the backing documents are categories of how you're going to spend the money in the city. It doesn't say what do you get for your $3,000? What do you get for the $7,000? What kind of training? So it's just categories for money. There's not a receipt. I get more information at CVS than this backing document for what you get for the hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm very passionate about this because with the money and the cost, there are families who will not have groceries on Saturday. That is not your fault. That's the federal government. But we need to be so careful with how you spend your money moving forward. 1 in 8 people have SNAP benefits. There's 11,000 people in this community. There's thousands of people who will not have that. So I'm asking you to be very, very careful with how you spend your money and to authorize this money to not know where it goes. Speaking of money, travel is uncapped in the way the contract sits now. Commissioner Fletcher asked, did we write the contract? We said it was reviewed. It's an open checkbook. It could cost thousands of dollars where you're paying them to travel here, stay at the Holiday Inn, all their meals. What can that give them a number? Don't spend more than $20,000, $30,000, whatever it is. Right now your total is 147. Priorities. Mr. Valadares says there's not extra features. Live streaming. People want to know what's going on. This doesn't include live streaming. I believe in a previous meeting, a staff member said we're going to do it in January. You want to do it right? All this money and implementation, there's no live streaming. I don't want to put up my phone and put it on the internet so people can see it. There's no live streaming as part of this contract. You confirmed and said there's no extra features. 20 seconds. Yeah, so basically, make sure they're legit in Florida. Attach a detailed itemized statement about what you're spending your money on. Make a cap for travel and clarify live streaming is involved. This is a good idea to go to cloud. But you need to do it right when you're spending so much money. This is a really good thing. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tamara Robbins. To follow up and really appreciate the bringing up of how was this contract procured. Mr. Mayor, the question was asked of the city manager. He didn't answer how it was procured. He said it was reviewed. Procurement is how do you get the bid? How did you get the quote? It said it was based on a quote provided by this company. According to the city policy, anything over $100,000 has to go out to bid. 2016 means nothing. City policy says contracts can't go for further than 5 years, although there is the provision for an option of 2 one-year extensions. I can do simple math. That 2016 contract is meaningless. As far as today goes, this is a new item. Maybe it needs to go out to bid. Your policy says it. It also says that the contract should have been reviewed and a letter should be attached. Either Mr. Mayor, did Mr. Walker review this contract before it was brought before you? I'd like to know the answer to that. It's part of your policy. It needs to happen. The travel and equipment transport reimbursement, totally object to that. Your policy 3.02 states travel or equipment, transport costs, and furtherance of supplying any good or services to the city must be separately negotiated and specifically made a part of any city agreement with a vendor, which it is in this case, but it's open-ended. The general rule is that no such reimbursement will be paid by the city. Stop paying for somebody else's rental car, airfares, hotels, meal packages, right? And it also, the city manager said there wouldn't need to be any training in this package. Well, according to my review of the contract, there's thousands of dollars, $61,000 needed to pay for training. How are we getting ahead on this? So it needs to go out to bid. The city attorney and or the risk management officer should have attached a review sheet to this before it's even before you. Under the purchase category, anything over $100,000 should have gone out for an RFP. That is city policy. Follow it, please. It is a legal requirement. And the fact this company isn't even registered, currently active in Sunbiz as doing business in the state of Florida, seems like deal over. So that should just be like done. You need to start this process over and do it legally. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, the only thing I want to clarify, we did point out the training was covered in this, and that was misquoted.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask the attorney a question, please? Mr. Attorney, can I just pull my motion? Retract my motion?
Yes.
Okay, I retract my motion. You have to retract your second.
I'll retract my second.
Just to clarify, once the motion has been seconded, it belongs to the commission as a whole, and that's why we have public comment and we do have to vote on it. That's per Robert's Rules of Order.
I think the intention, Mr. Mayor, is to move this, continue this, which does not require a second. I think that's what the intention is at this point. That's what I understand.
So we don't have to vote.
We have to vote no, Mr. Mayor, if we do not want to see this contract go forward and we want to send it back.
Vote.
Okay, Mr. Attorney.
Is your intention to continue this matter?
What I would want to see is staff go back and address some of these things and bring it before us again.
And then that's your motion that trumps the motion on the table, and you call for the question. Of course, there can be further discussion at this point if necessary.
So I'm changing my motion.
Right.
Okay. So I changed my motion to move to continue this agenda item to allow staff to look into. Excuse me.
Oh, I just said reevaluate. I'm sorry.
Okay. To staff to go back and address some of these things with the business and bring this back to us at a date certain, at another commission meeting. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. You could, yeah.
Mr. Mayor, if Commissioner Williams want to change that to date uncertain.
Correct. Date uncertain.
I'll second that.
It's been moved in second. We have public comments on it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I would like to ask Mr. Mayor if Mr. Walker or the city manager could clarify just straight up, can the city of Alachua enter into a contract for business with a company that is not registered in the state of Florida to do business? That's straightforward.
Mr. Mayor, I'll be happy to answer that. Certainly in the interim, we will investigate if they're authorized to do business. It's a fairly abbreviated and simple item to become activated if the corporation is unactivated. I'm happy to research that further with the company.
Okay, appreciate that, Mr. Walker, Mr. Mayor, but I could have waited until my time was done. So that needs to be cleared up. I would think if Mr. Walker reviewed this contract and did the due diligence required of his attorney or the risk management department, that would have been known, and it wouldn't even been on this agenda if it was an issue, right? So I guess that's the first thing that needs to be cleared up, because it seems like there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen with going out for an RFP or whatever it is. But the Mr. Walker or the risk management should have reviewed this and done all of this due diligence before it even got before you on the consent agenda. So, Mr. Mayor, I want to thank Commissioner Fletcher for pulling it off the consent agenda so you guys didn't enter into some illegal bad idea for the execution of a contract that resulted in wasteful spending of public money. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I got a question. Mr. Walker, I didn't catch the answer. Are we allowed to do business with a company that's not registered in Florida?
No, but it can be re-registered. It can be reactivated fairly simply. So yes, it can. Really,
so the answer is no. But if they get registered, then
correct.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
The registration is basically appointing a resident agent in this area. So if they're sued, we don't have to actually serve them in Delaware or at their place of business in Michigan.
Uh, Mr. Mayor, that's correct. But it seems like we've missed this. And so if they were ever to, if we were ever to get into a legal issue on this, if it wasn't brought to our attention by the public, we would have missed this. And if something were to happen down the road, then it's like saying, oh, well, they could register after the fact of the transgression. Right?
So the
So,
corporation is active in Delaware, according to the representation. So if there was a contract action based upon this particular matter, it would be brought here in Alachua County, state of Florida, Alachua County, and we would certainly ask that the corporation be reinstated at that time so that the registered agent could be served here in Alachua
okay.
or in Florida.
So moving forward, I would say with this next one, let's make sure they're registered in Florida. So if there is an issue, we can make sure they're served. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. So I just wanted to go over a couple things. I am certified by I'm certified in public procurement. So this is what I do. A sole source for something means that there's nobody else that provides that service, okay? A specified source is when you decide to pick a specific vendor for a legitimate reason, and one being that, okay, yes, to go out and resource it to another company, there might be more cost occurred than worth putting it out to bid. There's also options that you can check with the state and other agencies to see if they have a similar contract that you can do a co-op off of, a piggyback off of, that might be a better service. But I will say, and not to chastise, if this was correctly reviewed, you would have caught before it even got to the point that they were no longer registered, and we cannot do business. We are not supposed to be writing contracts with companies that are not registered. Doing it after the fact, that is not being transparent and open with the public. The whole point of the public procurement process is for it to be a fair, open, competitive process. So if someone that was interested or wanted to contest this contract, right, or how this process was procured, and they do a public records request, just as she was easily able to go onto Sunbiz and see that they're not registered in the state of Florida, but now all of a sudden it's brought up, hey, they're not a registered company, we're not supposed to be doing business. Okay, well, now we're going to go and cover our tracks real quick and tell them now we have to, or they have to register. Yes, he's correct. It's a process. It's not a long process, but it depends on how long it takes them to get their stuff in line. Regardless of whether it's a quick process or not, it's not correct. It wasn't done correctly from the jump. That contract from 2016, I'm gonna ask to see it because I'm curious, because I'm a resident. I want to see it, and I think that you guys should, whatever route you guys decide to go, whether you put it out to bid, you specify it, or you find a co-op to do the service. I understand why you want the service. You need to make sure that your IT does a check of the contract, legal does a check of the contract, and whoever's procuring it, your procurement specialist, goes ahead and reviews that contract. I review every term and condition that comes across my desk before I even send it to legal. So I'm just saying this wasn't done correctly, and I appreciate you guys pulling it back.
Thank you.
Hello, Story Lindbergh. Mr. Mayor, I want to thank the dais and Commissioner Williams and Commissioner Wingerson for amending your motion and hearing us and seeing how important this is. I just want to reiterate for the minutes and the people listening and watching this later, as we go through this, we covered the registration part, and Ms. King covered procurement. Can negotiate. Work with them, make the price lower. We've all bought a car. We know everyone wants to make the most money and we want to spend the least amount of money to get what we want. Please negotiate with them so you don't have to spend just the dollar that they said. Please get a statement of work of everything in that dollar will go to. This current contract, it tells you how they'll spend their hotel money and stuff, but how are they going to spend the other $145,000? Please put those itemized down so the public can see it. live streaming. Is that something BSA can do? If not, are we going to be talking about this like every 6 weeks until I retire? Is that something they offer? I've heard, some things like that, but is that part of that? I cover negotiations, and thank you for taking the public and our citizens seriously, because this is a very big deal. Like all your bills, everything else. Also, Mr. Mayor, the attorney mentioned that the language is confusing in this contract. I look forward to reading the next one and how clear it can be, and that we can all understand it in plain terms, or a quick Google to understand some other stuff like that. Because as it is now, there's no protection against the subscription. So I appreciate the commissioners making sure that you're not going to have a 20% increase. And I know it's comfortable to stick with the company. At my job, we're trying to convert a whole team into a new app. It's a lot of work. But if you do it through the procurement process, just give it a try. Maybe you're going to find a solution that costs less or has better features. So those are just things I just wanted to emphasize, that you get an itemized list of what you're doing, negotiate for as low as a price as you can. And when you come back, I want to see the negotiation. What was the first price and what's the price we landed on? I think that's cool to see in showing us where you can save that money. So thank you for taking this seriously. I appreciate you amending the motion.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I think some clarification for the public regarding the services that the BSA software provides versus some other ones. I believe, Mr. City Manager, if you can correct me on this, that BSA is an ERP management, which does not, and this particular implementation does not have any features regarding live streaming capabilities.
And so, since this item will be represented to the board, I will make sure that the director who's championing this will be able to provide the detail of all the services, the benefit for the residents, and recommendation on moving forward. So, please forgive me if I did a terrible job in representing this item to the board, but we'll make sure the right person presents it next time.
Anybody else? Well, we thank you. We'll take a vote. We'll start with Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Fletcher,
Aye.
Commissioner Ringerson,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shirley Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Welch, aye.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, comments from the citizens. Not on the agenda, please.
Brian Bisher. Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Mr. Valadares, and Mr. Walker. I've made a number of public records requests, as I've brought before this board before. One of my most recent records requests was just a few months ago, in which I requested records for the communications related to the tower developments since 2000, since last year when it was before the board. And I received like 1,298 pages, which was great. Good reading. And one thing it didn't include was the actual attachments to all the emails, to which I then had to spend another approximate month to request those emails and the attachments, and I received those. One thing I didn't receive those, it should have been exhaustive, given 1,298 pages plus all of the attachments, but it didn't include over 100 emails of people that had written to you, the commission, as well as the planning department, suggesting that Terra was a bad idea. And so I just wanted to let you know that I will be submitting these to the planning department so that they are in fact in the record, because apparently they aren't currently in the record. That said, I understand that the Tara April will be coming before you, or actually before the Planning and Zoning Board next month for a special exception permit. The National Speleological Society is on record contesting a special exception permit for the Terra Forest West water management system, or stormwater management system. That was void, that approval by the Planning and Zoning Board is void from last year, but they have not received a response from staff or from attorney, and it's very unclear to them as to even who the legal representation is for that matter. I mentioned this at the City of High Springs because they are represented by Mr. Walker's firm there, and they are an affected party in that particular matter. Given that they're an affected party, I'm not sure that you can comfortably rely on Walker Folds for an opinion related to that, whether it's to the staff or whether it's to the commission. And so I think there's some things that really need to be cleared up. It needs to be a lot more transparent as this comes forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Manager, and City Attorney. Mandy Bucci, the Mustard Seed Collection and Main Street Advocate, now organizer of Market on Main. So first, I want to thank you guys for voting in all these volunteer positions on the task force, the youth task force, and the senior one. Once I get the concert and the market under my belt, it's another goal to really help out the seniors in our community. I have a huge passion in my heart for our seniors, and it's something I look forward to jumping on the bandwagon with once we get more help out at the markets. But I really appreciate everybody's volunteer help, as I volunteer every day. So we're always looking for more volunteers out at the market. So please spread the word. And I wanted to let you guys know that we successfully had our fourth market, and we had 39 vendors. We had a huge variety. It was our first week cutting back on the multiples and the duplicates of bakers. And we had micro greens. We had quail eggs, duck eggs, chicken eggs, meat, knife sharpening, flowers, a bouquet stand where you could make your own flower bouquet. It was absolutely beautiful. The weather is beautiful. And again, I thank City of the Rec Department for helping me out and making sure that everything was ready and going. I still am pushing forward on getting that block closed from CVS entrance to the first block of Bev's, because our meat truck left early because she didn't have any sales because she's so far away from us. We just can't have them that far away from us. And I was worried this was going to happen, and it happened. So while we have this great momentum, and I finally got 8 new fabulous vendors with produce and eggs and all the great things and honey, I don't want to lose the momentum that we're building. So I'm asking again to put this at the forefront, which I know it is, and I know you're tired of hearing me talk about it, but we're working on it. And then what else? And then I'm really excited about getting our water address. It kind of sucks that we're still talking about getting accessibility for our residents to be able to see our meetings online and communicate online. So I'd really love this to be addressed. And for Soria's water to be addressed. I know we all are tired of hearing about it. So whatever I can do to help the process, let me know, and I will jump right in and help. Because we need to get everybody's concerns taken care of, and you can count me in, not just for Main Street, but for the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Phyllis Strickland, I just want to say I attended the market on Saturday. I bought duck eggs, loofah, juice, flowers. It was just a nice thing. It was my first visit. And so the work that she is doing in the community together, pulling the community together and getting all the different vendors, it's great. I enjoyed it. I spent money.
Thank you.
I'm a little short, so my name is Sunita Park. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, um, and City Manager and City Attorney. I'm not a public speaker, so I'll do my best. I fully support the Main Street market. I have done 8 markets across the United States, living in different areas. I've been in the Alachua area for a little over 5 years, and seeing what has been accomplished by Mandy Bucci, the organizer of our wonderful Main Street Market, is miraculous. Actually, I've done one of the largest markets in the United States of America in Eugene, Oregon, which takes up 4 to 5 city blocks, depending on how many vendors and what time of year the market is happening. So I fully support any upward progress that we can make, and all of your support. And I wanted to share that I am a volunteer, a vendor, a community member of our new Alachua Main Street Market. We meet every Thursday evening. And I'm proud to say that the organizer, Mandy Bucci, is both organized, focused, positive individual in welcoming new income sources to enliven our downtown businesses and the Alachua local income. So I feel like the benefits are from the market are positive growth in continued financial growth, a venue for reconnecting with our diverse communities in a positive and fun environment, wholesome and healthy family kind of fun experience, and supporting it supports various vendors, and they are coming from outside of Alachua. So that brings me to mentioning that I kind of take a little test of who's coming to the market. So at my table on various times, folks are coming from Fort White, High Springs, La Crosse, and Gainesville. So thank you very much for supporting the welcoming Alachua new Main Street Market, Farmers Market, and the Good Life Community Image. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Connie Meyer. I'm going to address all of you. I wanted you to put this on public record because I'm not sure that you know that there is a unit that is being built on property 5930-1-1 is being really built according to the standards that NV5 had informed the neighbors and myself at the meeting on February 3rd of 2025. We were informed that the elevation of the property would stay very similar to the way it is, they would only bring in about 6 inches of dirt. They have brought in loads and loads of dirt, and I took a picture of it today, and it's about 2 feet higher than the easement road that is right next to it. And that means that my neighborhood, the creek, it's all going to, when the rainy season comes, which it will come just because it hasn't come this year, we are going to flood. In the water, they have this little tiny retention pond, but the retention pond is on this side, but the easement road is about 2 feet higher, filled with dirt, and all that water is going to go someplace. And they have like a piece of plastic holding it up right now with an orange piece about 2 feet away from that. That dirt is going to go someplace. And they promised us that you were only going to bring in 6 inches. So we said, okay, go ahead and do it, because you're not going to destroy the natural creek. But that's not what they did. So who do I hold accountable for that? Who do I see? It is in our backyard. I've been there for 35 years, and I have almost flooded a couple times because I'm at the very end toward Brook Point. And this year we have no storms, but next year we could get them again. And basically, I want to thank you for this, but I want somebody to get back to me, because we are going to be in trouble. And all that dirt that they keep bringing in is not what NV5 told all of us, and we agreed to it at that moment. So there's going to be a big issue. And am I going to be able to sell my house when I die in 20 years because it's going to be in a floodplain? The whole backyard is going to be flooded? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we'll move to comments from city manager and city attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I'd like to take the moment to address a lot of the comments that were made here by the public. Thank you so much for expressing items for us to work with you on. And so for Ms. Robbins, you pointed out you want an update for the alcohol ordinance. The city has been working on it and has been reviewed by the attorney. Notifications will be going out, and it's tentatively scheduled for next city commission for it to be addressed. The other item were the cost for outfitting APD. If you don't mind, Chief, do you mind coming up and giving us a breakdown on the costs associated with that? As he's coming forward, the other item Ms. Robbins brought up was an update for live streaming. And so, yes, that was identified back in June 2023. And during that time, there was nothing allocated for the budget to be done. We focused on the budget process. We had strategic initiatives, and our new fiscal year kicked off October 1st. And ever since October 1st first kicked off, we've been very focused on getting your vision for the strategic initiatives aligned with the strategy in place and associated budget. So we have been moving forward with that. Live streaming was not a part of your strategic initiative. We will address it with time. And since Chief's here, do you mind giving us a breakdown for the vehicle costs?
Sure. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney. First of all, let me apologize for my attire to address you guys this evening. I'm still on light duty, so I'm not wearing a uniform, but I'm the Chief of Police here in the City of Alachua. And I know Ms. Robbins had a question about the cost of the 4 patrol cars that were on the consent agenda tonight. I'd be happy to clarify. So the total amount of I think she mentioned around $400,000. That includes the cost of all the cars, the company Dana Safety Supply that we use to outfit or upfit all the vehicles. That's adding all the equipment and everything that goes in the cars, as well as the other, I believe it's 2 vehicles that we do for admin. Those vehicles don't rise to the level of 100,000 that has to be approved by the commission. So those are just done through the normal procurement process. The 4 vehicles together for the actual patrol vehicles, they total over $100,000. Therefore, it comes to the commission. But when we did the budget process this year, all of those items, the vehicles, the equipment, upfitting, the laptops that go in the vehicles, the radars and such, all those are put into the capital expenditure line, machinery and equipment, which is where the total of 400,000 comes from. And then for tonight only is the actual 4 vehicles, the actual patrol vehicles that totaled over $100,000 that has to come before the commission. So if Ms. Robbins, if that clarifies. Okay, awesome.
Chief, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Other items that Ms. Robin noted were Mr. Attorney Walker's role. He's fulfilling the role as a city attorney for the city. Questions about Mr. Theriak, his current role. He is supporting the city on the charter amendment. And the other question was asked was theater park costs. The additional costs that have been approved for Theater Park were for unforeseen site conditions. I believe they came across some basins and they had to address that. If Ms. Robbins want, I can find the actual change order that reflected that change. And that's the only addition to that site that I know of. Ms. King, it was very nice to meet you this evening. There's a lot of items I did have written down, but one item that you did note were a fire department. There's only one in the city of Alachua. We do have two. The one that you referenced is the second site. The other one is further down on US 441 near Tech City. And that's the location for it. Miss Miller, if you don't mind, I'll grab you right after the meeting. We'll talk about the sewer that you brought up and the plans for that. Ms. Lindberg brought up the Santa Fe Hills water system. Yes, we're very familiar with that. And even though that one question seems very simplistic, it does involve invoicing, operations, meter readers, and so forth. And so that is a direction we do want to head. We're just managing our current workload. Our cup does overflow with our current efforts in with the city attorney and coordinating. There was a gentleman that brought up the Christmas shed down Main Street. I would love to work with him to find out if it's feasible and permittable to have a shed. So before he brings any recommendation to this board, I would like to know what if that's even available to go down on Main Street. And Miss Connie, I'm sorry I did not have the last name in reference to the site prep. Allow me to catch you after this meeting. I'll be able to provide you the best direction on how to get your questions resolved. And so with that said, in closing, we did have Florida League of City Weeks for the local school where I had the wonderful opportunity to visit 3 schools this past week. That was championed by Leanne Williams. Leanne, thank you. I can brag about how I felt, and let me let you know one thing I did hear. There was a mom who came to pick up a student, and the student said, "Mom, I can't go, not right now." And the mom wanted to know why. He never wants to be in school, and for some reason this day he was intrigued with learning about local government. Public services was there with the electric bucket truck and all the toys they got to play with. And so even though his mom was there to pick him up early, he didn't want to leave. He wanted to see all that through, which kind of highlights the wonderful work that we get to do and show off of our local heroes. And so, Mayor, that's all my comments for this evening. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, we had the ethics presentation scheduled for all of our city officials on December 4th, but that is the day of the Alachua County League of Cities meeting. So we're going to shift that date, and we're looking for a date right now, and we're going to make sure some other time in December we have availability for you and the other cities in that meeting. So we'll get you that date as soon as we know it and get you an invitation. That's all I had, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Now we have comments, commissioners' comments, discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll keep this brief. I would like to thank the public for bringing their concerns regarding this thing. The not registered to do business in Florida, this wasn't something I knew about. So I appreciate the public's due diligence on catching that and bringing that to our attention. I think us as a city is very grateful for active and involved citizen participation in this. And I really want to thank you for that. I also want to thank for all the applicants for our boards. I look forward to working with you guys over your guys' term, and I think their term is on a year. So I would look forward to working with you guys on that and seeing what we can do. Other than that, this past week I've been deathly sick. I still have a lingering cough, so I might not shake hands, so I apologize for that. So my weekends have been very light, so I haven't had any fun things to do, so I'll keep it short. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'll just echo for everybody that came and the support and the people in the community. The chief continue to keep us safe. Again, with the farmers market and all of those wonderful things. I love going. I am planning on going this weekend to see some of the other things that are happening. I've like Miss Phyllis. I spend money at farmers markets. Sometimes I don't even realize how much you spend till you leave. So I'm just glad I don't have to drive to Hale Plantations farmers markets anymore. Sorry, Hale. Mr. Walker, real quick on the ethics training, we do that. We just finished that. If you did it in January, then we could do it in January for us as a group, or just be part of it because we would have to do it again in 2026. I've completed it in Florida City, so that's one of the things you kept bringing up, and I keep meaning to say something to you afterwards. We're already, I think all of us are done on the dais, but if you did it in January, then we wouldn't have to do it again in August. Just to throw it out there for.
I like that idea. That's great. We'll
that's all.
probably do it this year just because some of the city officials will be, but if we can do it earlier in 2026, great idea.
Okay, awesome. And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
She said she don't have none.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Pastor Michael Miller, thank you for being here for the prayer. And thanks for staying to the meeting. Normally I'll tell the pastors, you're free to go. But we thank you for staying. The Friends of the Library met. We were talking about volunteers. They need volunteers. I'm not going to point any people out, but they do need volunteers. The African American read-in is February the 22nd. Mark your calendars.
February 22nd.
Yes. My gratitude to all of the citizens tonight for your attendance and your concerns. We are a family. We are a community. And we all want the best for the city of Alachua. So let's continue to work together. Let's continue to be a unified group. As our mayor always says, we are better together. Last thing, there's a town hall meeting October 29th, 5:30 to 7 at Eastside. There's another one October 30th at Santa Fe High School. They want us to come and give our input on reading and writing. So if you're available, please attend. Yes.
Can I add on that? Maybe, David, we can get somebody from the task force to also attend that. I will make sure to attend too. Thank you, sir. Also,
Great.
Also before the mayor goes, I also, for tonight, I think anybody that's praying, I would pray tonight for the families in Jamaica.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And I also want to thank each and every one of you for your input and your concerns. And like Vice Mayor says, and like I know all of our panel up here agree, we're better together. I thank Pastor Michael Miller for sitting in, and I'm looking forward to that fellowship. And I thank each and every one of you. As long as we work together, we will see a lot of things being done. We got a lot of things working on, and got a lot of things heading our way. So I'm so proud to be a Alachua citizen, and I'm so glad we're moving forward. And so on that note,
I'm going to say motion to adjourn, Mayor.
On that note,
motion to adjourn.
Second. Motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. This meeting is adjourned.